1987-88 men's soccer team. The 1987-88 Durham College men's soccer team, led by head coach Vasko Bojanovic, assistant coach Michael Lamers, became the first men's varsity team to capture a national medal in school history on the men's side, as they defeated Vancouver College 2-1 in the CCA National Bronze Medal game in Montreal. A remarkable achievement by this exceptional team. This was a very good team. National Bronze Medal team. The team went 6-1-1 in the regular season, first place in the OCAA East, scoring 23 goals while allowing only 7. The Lords were led by Ron DiDonelli, who led the East in scoring with 8 goals, and Charles Brand, who scored 6. Brand and defender Mauro Ciampa were named OCAA All-Stars during the regular season. The team would advance that year to the OCAA Provincial Championship, beating Mohawk College 2-0 in their opening game of the Final Four and advancing to the gold medal game. An exciting matchup would take place against arch rival Seneca College in that final game. The final score was 1-0 in favor of Seneca after a hard-fought battle on the field. With a silver medal performance in the books, Durham claimed a spot at the CCAA National Championship as a wild card. Ontario was very strong in soccer, and almost every year, Ontario got 2 teams at the National Championship. The Lords would go 2-1 in the national pool play in Montreal, including a thrilling 4-2 overtime win over Vanier College from Quebec. Ron Savinin scored in the last minute of regulation to tie the game up. Cam Chacal would score 2 and Billy Blake 1 in overtime for the win. Chacal and Nick Muscello were named CCAA All-Canadians. The team was welcomed back enthusiastically to the campus. Pep rallies, a special pep rally was organized, and the school was really excited about this national accomplishment. All the players involved with this soccer team deserve a great deal of congratulations and for their achievements in certainly bringing home our first men's national medal. The 1987-88 men's soccer team are forever national bronze medalists and are now being honored in the Durham College Sports Hall of Fame. When your name's called, please come forward. Mike Vieira. Andreas Jacob. Not with us, unfortunately, due to work commitments, and he's in Calgary, but certainly sends his best regards. I know he's been communicating to many of you on the team. Gino Chula. Steve Smith. Carlo Bracchia.
Yeah, 28 years later.
You guys went on the radio. I don't have to say your name. Sometimes I get lucky. Mauro Ciampa.
What, no high five?
Dave Monroe. Jeff Curry. Nick Muscello. Ron DiDonelli. Charles Brand. Ike Altenstad. Rob Sabanin. Mike Carney. Billy Blake. Alan Hall. Cam Shakal. Unable to make it tonight. I think he ran into some weather issue. Hamilton got hit pretty good, but Phil wasn't that great of a driver, so I think maybe anytime it snows, I'm not sure if you know that or not, but he was an internship at our department. He wasn't a very good driver. There's a pole outside here that's been replaced on the corner. Phil's coming for placement, obviously late. Can't remember this. He was late. He was really late after he did that. He slid in somehow on the weather and he took out one of the concrete poles and hit it. Didn't quite make it past the corner. So he did come into work and he did most of his placement that day. And at lunchtime, he finally literally came into my office and said, I got to talk to you about something. You know that pole outside, that car that's still out there? It's mine. So I'm probably sure he's a little jittery and bad with it. I'm not sure. But Phil, we'll make sure he gets his award. He's been communicating as well. And certainly a great part of the team. And our final team member, Jacques Gauthier. Assistant coach, Mike Lamers. And this gentleman, certainly most people know, if you don't, you know him by a number of different things, Coach V, Vaso. I'm sure there's a few other ones that can't be said. Vaso Vujanovic certainly is quite well known to Durham College. In fact, our field is named after Vaso Vujanovic. It's a great field on campus. Not the field that's over here underneath our residence that you play on, but you were the predecessor for delivering a great residence to our campus. So thank you for that. And then we played off site for about 3 years. That was not so good. We played in Mead, we played in Clarington, Curtis at the time, and we now have our own field, and it's Vaso Field. We're really excited about that. Vaso retired from men's soccer after a number of years coaching, 18 in fact. Took a slight break and decided he wanted to coach women's soccer, which is a smart move. Vaso came back and quickly took our women's soccer program in 7 years to five national championships, won 5 Ontarios in a row, and decided that he had enough of that and wanted to spend some time in his real retirement when he left work here. He also worked for a good part of 30 years here in the finance department, which was always good to have a coach that worked in the finance department. Hey, Vaso? Yeah, a little more than $3 after that year for me. So we took a short break and decided after that he wanted to coach men again. And he had a great opportunity. We made Vaso our very first coach of our very first ever university men's soccer program here. Vaso is currently our head coach at UNT. And the head coach of our 1987-88 men's soccer team, Vaso Vujanovic. Ladies and gentlemen, our 1987-88 men's soccer Hall of Famers. As well, there'll be a formal opportunity outside for team pictures. We'll have that all set up after this. We will also have an opportunity, if you'd like, we're going to open the gym up, turn the lights on, your championship banners, both teams are up on the wall. Check out the gym. We have a hardwood gymnasium floor now. For some people who had an injury on a rubber floor, it's now hard. Your banners are up. I'd certainly like to show you that. We have turned the lights on. Let our students know the lights on. I'll take you on some tours. Anybody wants a quick run through? You have to see our fitness center. You saw our old fitness center. 4 sit-up boards and 2 stationary bikes was considered a fitness center in 1985. So we've graduated a little bit from that. We'd like to show you that before you go. So we will have you at this time. You can return to your seats. I'd like to call upon Charles Brand and Ike Mullenstead.
Good evening. My name is Ike Mullenstead. This is Charlie Christian. We were co-captains of the 1987-1988 men's varsity soccer team that is being inducted into the Hall of Fame. We're going to talk about the season 26 years ago and acknowledge and thank those that made that CCAA bronze medal possible. So I'm going to start by recapping the season. A couple of things to take note of is that book says a lot of what I'm about to say, and I didn't know that. And 2, me and Charlie were better leaders by example than doing all this talking stuff, so bear with us, all right? So, Charlie and I had played the previous 2 seasons on the men's soccer team. The previous 2 seasons, Vassal's men's varsity soccer team had an impressive regular season record, but also always faced disappointment at the OCAA championships. Those 2 seasons, Vassal's teams had amassed regular season records of 16-0, only to go on to lose in the semifinals at the OCAA championships. We ended up playing for and winning the bronze medal both those years, never making it to the gold medal game. A disappointment for Vassal and both teams. The 1987-88 season was a transition year, a changing of the guard, sort of to say, you know. We lost 13 players from the previous season and had only 9 returning players. We went into that season without expectations, unsure what we were going to get. We welcomed in 11 rookies to the team that year. We had 20 players to start the season, but we lost 3 players early to injuries and for personal reasons, and that reduced our team to 17 players. We started that season with a record of 2-1-1. I know Vassal, at the time, didn't know what to do when we put that tie on his perfect record. It was a little miffed. And when we put that loss on a record, he shed a tear. But we quickly changed his tears to a smile of success by the end of that season. Vassal and Mike Lamers, his assistant coach, kept the team focused on the goal of winning an OCAA gold medal. Vassal and Mike knew we were a bunch of new players learning to play together. The tie and loss gave team character. It took Vassal and Mike some time to find the right starting 11, and it took us some time to learn to play together, to fight for each other, and to become a team. In the second half of the season, we went on to avenge the tie and loss that we had at the beginning of the season, and by beating both those teams 5-0 in the return matches. We ended up finishing the season 6-1-1, scoring 16 goals for in the second half of the season and only 1 goal against. We had come together as a team and had become a championship potential team. We went into the OCAA championships playing great soccer. At the OCAA championships, we played Mohawk in the semis and beat them 2-0, earning a berth in the OCAA finals. We then faced Seneca College, the winner of the gold at the OCAAs the previous 2 years, as well as they were CCAA national champions. Because Seneca was national champions, 2 teams from Ontario got to go to the national champions that year. So by making the finals, we were guaranteed a spot at the nationals that year. We didn't win the gold at the OCAAs, we won silver, but we got to go to the national championships. We still had to play Seneca in the OCAA finals, knowing that we were going to the nationals. At this point, Vassal and Mike had developed a winning mentality within the team and kept us focused on the goal of winning the gold medal. Unfortunately, we did lose that gold medal game to Seneca, 1-0 in a hard-fought battle. Disappointing to the team, but we look forward to meeting them again in the finals at the national championships in Montreal. So we went to the nationals for the first time with revenge on our mind. Our first game at the national championships was against Vancouver Community College, and we beat them 1-0. Juan being Nelly scored a goal. Nice. In our second game, we played Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. It was a great game, which we lost 3-2 in overtime. They was the team that went on to win the national championship in the national championships that year. We actually led them 2-1. They scored a late goal to tie it up, and then they scored the goal in overtime to beat us. If we would have won that game, we would have went to the gold medal game. In that game, we tried that goal. And but it was an unfortunate loss, though. For a chance at the bronze medal, we had to beat Vanier College in our next game. We beat them 4-2 in overtime to earn a shot at the bronze medal. Rob Sabatin scored a late goal to tie it up at 1-1, and Kamal Shakal, he ended up scoring 2 goals in overtime, and Billy Blake popped another goal for us. So we had 4. We ended up winning 4-2 in overtime. So that was great. We got to go to the bronze medal game. We played Vancouver College again in the bronze medal game and beat them 2-1, earning the bronze medal. Kamal scoring a goal once again, and Moro Siemba adding another. There were 3 things that made this team great. First is how we grew and got better as a team as the season went along. Second, the fact that we were much smaller school than all the other schools that we were competing against at the OCAAs and the CCAAs, which also made our accomplishment more remarkable. Third is we didn't have a big team. By the time we got to the OCAAs, we only had 16 players. We had unfortunately lost Davey Monroe in the second last game of the season to a broken leg. But with 16 players, we went on to compete at the OCAAs and the national championships and earn this medal. Fourth was the fact that this was one of the hardest working teams that Charlie and I had ever been a part of. The rookies that year, we We had 9 returning players, 11 rookies on the team that year. The rookies came up big for us that year. They ended up playing key roles for the team that year. But just to give you an example, Phil isn't here, but Kamal, we had Kamal and Phil, big Kamal and little Phil ruling our middle, 2 rookies. Moro Siempo back on the defensive line, Rob Sapp on the halves, we had Stevie Smith. I can acknowledge all the guys, everybody contributing. Ronnie was our OCAA leading scorer. He scored 8 goals in 7 games. OCAA All-Stars were Charlie and Moro Siempa. CCAA All-Stars were Kamal Shakal and Nick Monticello. So we had a well-balanced team of veterans and rookies that year. We played a lot of overtime soccer at the CCAAs, and it was a long season. There wasn't one of us that wasn't standing there receiving that bronze medal that hadn't left it on the field and didn't have the bruises and the knocks to show for that journey. We grew into a very good team. We were hardworking, tough, and never gave up. We had the perfect mix of veterans and rookies with a Hall of Fame coach. Every man contributed to the success of that season, and that is what made it a special season and resulted in the bronze medal.
On behalf of the 87-88 Durham College men's soccer team, we would like to thank Durham College and the athletic department for this honor bestowed upon us. To be recognized for this accomplishment means that our team did something very extraordinary. And the Hall of Fame induction ceremony is the icing on the cake. We chose DC for the high quality of education in such fields as business, engineering, among other programs. DC's practical teaching method had prepared our generation for the next phase of our life as young adults. There was an added bonus of participating in an elite DC athletic program. Soccer brought multi-diverse cultures together and allowed us to gel as a team and a family. We played to win as a team with no inflated heads. I would like to praise the late Dave Stewart, who was the former athletic director, for supporting the DC student athletes. If you needed to talk to somebody, his door was always open. He made you feel important. This flowed down through the entire athletic department staff, which made us feel welcome, and it was just an amazing experience. Since we needed to make a speech, I guess I was voluntold. I thought I would look a bit at the DC history and came across a few facts. I guess DC opened in 1967, started off with 205 students. 20 years later, a very special group of students became part of DC history. Now, fast forward to today, I understand that there's over 9,000 students at Durham College, and there was a dance crew made up of DC and UOIP students that had won 3 hip-hop titles. They performed in videos and opened for such artists as Tyga, Drake, Rick Ross, Busta Rhymes. All the young kids would know these, right? So this made me think about our soccer team, as I believe back in the day, we could have formed a formidable dance group. Successful and memorable We all know the legendary Hall of Fame coach Vassal. He was able to place a group of soccer players on the field in the right positions in order to achieve the ultimate goal. If you've talked to Vassal, he has a very thick accent that makes it very difficult to understand him sometimes. So imagine 26 years ago how difficult it was for us to understand him on the field. Didn't know if he wanted us to dribble with the ball or scribble on a piece of paper. Just kidding. We love you, Vassal. Actually, Vassal was able to communicate his strategies based on the player skills and abilities in his team sport. This was proven by the number of winning seasons. 87-88 was a tough season at the beginning when we went 2-1-1. An undefeated regular season went down in flames. So I must validate what I had said earlier, that I did see Vassal definitely shed at least one tear. But we endured and prevailed at the end of the season with the Canadian bronze medal. Now, our other coach, Mike, who never has his hair out of place, wearing his was our assistant coach. Mike would execute the fitness portion of our practices along with the drills. He would teach by example, so he quickly became one of us. He was our translator when Vassal spoke. He's a young, blonde Tom Selleck. Thanks for all your time and dedication. Appreciate it.
So in conclusion, on behalf of the team, I would like to say thank you to the DC Hall of Fame Committee for selecting us, bestowing this honor upon us. I would also like to acknowledge and congratulate the women's volleyball team on their great season and their induction into the Hall of Fame. Well done, ladies. At the time, we did not realize what we had accomplished. To a man, we wanted the gold, and we also wanted to beat Seneca. This is all a surprise to us. Looking back, it was a great season, and we did break new ground for the Durham College men's soccer team. We are honored to be put into the Durham College Hall of Fame, and I have personally already